This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty and Mary Jane. Only on Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
Nice say he that keepeth his mouth, you know. They shall.
Talking Heads with Naughty and MJ is brought to you by The Armory Company, Burger King, Kalina Insurance Limited, Fine Threads, Charles Department Store, KFC, the Ministry of Agriculture, Marine Resources, Naughty Johnny's, Prince Masters, the Progressive Liberal Party, and Tropical Gyros.
From your little baby, he that keepeth his mouth shall stay out of problem. It seems like it was things carrying jail. So I ain't carrying on. Same out that chatter with me, well, chatter of him, murder rap begin farm.
You've got it locked and loaded to the Wednesday, March 25th edition of Talking Heads. Is it the 25th or the 26th today? The 25th, yeah. The Wednesday, March 25th edition of Talking Heads. Your boy Naughty along with MJ in your company right up until 6 p.m. 4:10 p.m. is the time. It is a Wednesday. MJ, what's good?
It is a beautiful day. Another beautiful day.
For real, and we got lots and lots to talk about. We got plenty topics we need to cover on this episode. And if you want to chime in and be part of the conversation, here's how.
Here's how you can become a talking head. Brought to you by BTC.
Fax lines powered by BTC 422-GR96. That's 422-4796. Phone lines open in New Providence 323-6232, 325-4259, 325-4316. Toll free and anyone in the family islands 242-300-5720, 242-300-5. Take us wherever you want to go. GuardianTalkRadio.com. That's GuardianTalkRadio.com. All right, before we jump in, I like to keep you in the know, get you where you want to go. Little FYI for you. It's all about Kalina. That's right. Kalina has an important reminder. Proof of full student enrollment for overage dependents for the spring 2026 semester is past due. Please submit your verification documents via email at healthbenefits@kalina.com by March 31st to stay covered. Kalina has an important reminder. Proof of full-time student enrollment for overage dependents for the spring 2026 semester is verification documents via email to healthbenefits@kalina.com by March 31st to stay covered. All right.
Wait. Is that overage dependence or overage dependence? Because I'm a bit.
Okay.
I'm just want to make sure. I hate to do it. I hate to do it. Just
okay.
Making sure.
I would like corporate and legal to find out who typed the live read at overage as one word, because I can read, so I'm saying overage because overage is a word, correct?
It is a word.
So shouldn't overage be separated, correct?
Well, okay. I got you. Overage.
If you tell me, Naughty, take the measurements, and I take the measurements and I say, listen, it's an ounce and a half. There's a half ounce overage. You know exactly what I mean.
Well, yes, I got you.
Over by half an ounce.
Yeah, maybe a dash in between would have worked. I got you. What is it, like a hyphen? Maybe, yeah, I got you.
I'm just saying. Now,
okay, overage, 2 words. Yeah.
Nonetheless, who's overage dependents need your damn insurance? Call Kalina or email Kalina, okay?
It's a Wednesday. It's a hump day. We're going to get over this hump.
All right. Can I proceed now without the
Please
grammar
do.
and comprehension?
I hate
please?
being pedantic. I swear I do, but I was just trying to figure out
You
what was
love being
over it.
pedantic. You just
No, I
don't do it
don't.
publicly,
No,
but you
I
love
don't.
being pedantic.
Oh boy, it's a Wednesday.
Oy vey. Anyway,
Oy vey.
now that we got that out of the way, it is 4:13. Where do we start the conversation?
The headlines, right?
Yeah, we got to get into the headlines. I don't know if I want to get into the headlines, but yeah, here we go.
Everything that's making headlines in the 242. Brought to you by the Fine Threads.
And here's what's blazing up the pages of the Nassau Guardian News and Views. It matters since 1844. All brought to you, of course, by the Fine Threads. PM says Pintards' promise on Family Island banking would place jobs at risk. What is this old boogeyman theory that the Prime Minister and Fred Mitchell, the silly septuagenarian, are trying to spread? If the F&M becomes the next government today, they are not going to lay off 5,000 employees. Mr. Pintard spoke to that. And now, because you want to improve banking in the Family Islands, it'll place jobs at risk. How many other jobs are at risk in Family Islands under this administration? Should we talk?
Well, no, I think it's been said for a long time that there needs to be something done in terms of banking in the Family Islands. So any kind of solution that we can get on that front, I think it'll be good, you know? We need a solution.
We do need banking in the Family Islands. From I hear people in Exhuman and Luther and certain other places say they don't have any ATM Long Island, no bank in Long Island. What's going on?
Yeah, and we know that they use unofficial means to kind of act as banks in the Family Islands. I mean, let's not pretend we don't know that's going on. So, yeah, something definitely needs to be done. Hopefully, we get it done soon.
Parliamentary commissioner says voter turnout could be as high as 80%. Now, is that, Mr. Parliamentary Commissioner, is that Bahamian voter turnout?
It
or
is
that international voter turnout?
I'm wondering though why. I mean, 80%. I know that traditionally we are
Yes.
around 85. So I'm hoping it's going to be higher. To be,
I'm going to
quite
be honest with you. Mr. Thompson, I don't know you from a can of paint. I don't know you from the man in the moon. But I do have a hard time believing what you say, considering all what you've said so far. And you know why? What doubles down? You look like Burns. You look like Mr.
Why don't
Burns.
you behave? Really?
And I really got issues with that.
Oh
I
my
need to know
gosh.
that it's 80% Bahamian voter turnout.
It's
Our
Bahamian,
polls cannot be compromised.
and I'm
Mr.
thinking
Thompson.
it should be higher than that. I'm hoping.
We don't
I
need
mean,
translators at the polls, Mr. Thompson.
the main question is, will we see a turnout like what we saw in 2021 during the COVID years? And I'm hoping that that was an outlier and that we're going to get back to our traditional turnout levels. So 80%, I would hope is the floor, not the ceiling. And to see something higher, 85, 87, even 90%, I think that'll be awesome for the country. So hopefully we see more than 80% for sure.
A badge can never place anyone above the law. This coming from the Prime Minister.
Yeah. Most unfortunate. Yeah, no, most unfortunate. We know what he's talking about.
A
But go
lot
ahead,
of
you can
layers
go
to
ahead.
those onions right there.
Yeah, you can go ahead with this story with the lead because I think we all know what he's talking about.
Grand Bahama Power Company president says no final agreement yet on sales, so that's more cap. Let's skip right over that. And then the big headline: police officer charged with murder.
Yeah, and that's what the Prime Minister
Police
referring
officer
to.
charged with murder for the off-duty shooting of American Cody Castillo. Superintendent Bernil Pinder was not required to enter a plea to the murder charge when he appeared before acting magistrate Anne Selena Evans and denied bail. MJ, I think you might want to check this article in The Guardian. There's a glaring typo that you need to get on them for.
But you could do it.
They spelled change CHAGGE.
You
And it should be murder
well,
charge.
You're telling them now,
And if-
so.
Hell yeah, if I going down like the Hindenburg today, everybody coming down with me.
You know what? At times like this, I remember. You remember Nikki Kelly back in the day when she used to do her. I think it was Boo Boo column in the Punch. Like at first, you used to roll your eyes, like, "Oh, she's picking at such small things." But I get why it was so important, and you know, we miss figures like Nikki Kelly. May she rest in peace.
And I used to take Mrs. Kelly to task for being the pedantic, grammar police that she was. I thought it was brilliant in its own right. But guess what? For those of us who make a mistake every now and again, don't sweat the technique. Go figure something else out. You ain't got to worry if I spelled the word wrong or not. You understand what I'm meaning. You meaning what I'm understanding. Let's go.
Yeah, sure, sure. But let's get to the substantive issues that we're dealing with, which happens to do with what the Prime Minister recently said about, the shooting that involved the senior police officer.
But just one more thing. It has been adjourned to July 23rd for the presentation
we're
of
not
a
gonna.
voluntary bill of indictment. So
Yeah,
now it's
yeah.
kind of sub judice. So you got to.
It
You
is
can't
sub judice.
toss
I'm
it right
not. I'm not
into
going
it.
to doubt that. Like we said, an investigation would follow quickly, and that has happened. This case has moved in rapid fashion, and now we understand that a senior officer has been charged, and of course, he will have his day in court, and then they will come to a decision surrounding this case. But I'm more focused on the policy because the Prime Minister did offer some commentary, and he talked about maybe some policy changes that may need to be implemented just to make sure that our communities are safer. One of the things that he talked about was the use of non-lethal weapons. He said perhaps we need to look into that. He also spoke to policy surrounding officers being armed when they're off duty. So that's something that we're going to be looking at as well as a society. But I found that I found the position about, about the weapons and non-lethal weapons quite interesting because this is not the first time that this particular issue has come up. You may recall last year around August, there was also a finding that a police officer would have to face charges due to a shooting that happened around that time. And then back then we did, and she spoke to, a little bit about policies and further training and that it would make officers more aware about how to use lethal force. And she did also speak about this idea, this concept about non-lethal weapons. So let's have a quick listen to what our Commissioner of Police, Chantal, said back in August of last year about the police officers potentially getting non-lethal weapons.
What it will do now is cause us to understand the importance of justifiable force and harm, for us to change our mindset, our thinking when dealing with those people we meet in our communities, so that we can have a second look. And sometimes a second look could be very dangerous for an officer. Again, there are times when you cannot take a second look because it's between your life and someone else's life. We will not encourage to abuse their power, but we encourage them to understand the justifiable force. What it will do now is cause us to understand the importance.
Okay, here's my issue with that. While I agree with the commissioner on non-lethal force, we've spoken about it on this show on numerous occasions prior as a suggestion, as an alternative. I cannot agree with the commissioner when she says, lethal force, so on and so forth. Yes, I get it. If you're in the line of duty and you have to protect your life and you have to protect, when you are off duty and you are carrying your service revolver and citizens are getting killed, Houston, we have a problem. Because if it isn't a special detail or special circumstance, then why are you taking a service revolver home?
Well, that's one of the policies that the Prime Minister says that they're now going to have to look at, right? I don't know. Do we have the rest of the clip, Mr. Producer, where she spoke about use of non-lethal weapons? Do we have that part of it? Anyway, the commissioner said that she would have a conversation with the Minister of National Security, Mr. Monroe, and that she had already, begin looking into it. The thing about it that kind of concerns me, though, is that you may recall February of this year, just, a little over a month ago, the Minister of National Security, Mr. Monroe, and the Police Staff Association got into a bit of a back and forth over whether or not police officers can legally carry non-lethal weapons. And I think Mr. Monroe, kind of made it clear that he found it distressing that maybe some officers misunderstood the law, saying that they could carry, non-lethal weapons. If it was a legal question that needed to be settled, I'm curious to know what has happened between then and now, because if the commissioner has been talking about this
That clip is
potential-
ready by the way, MJ. The clip is ready if you need it.
Okay, sure. Let's listen to the last piece with the commissioner.
It also calls us now to look at probably finding ways that we can have non-lethal weapons a part of our arsenal. That is something I'm looking at. I do know that I've started the process already, and I will be speaking with our minister a little further on about that.
So the commissioner of police said that she would be speaking about it in February of this year. Like I said, when Mr. Monroe had the back and forth with the Police Staff Association, he said, and this is reported out in the Tribune, quote, likely it is that none of them have asked for permission, which means it can't be something that they seriously want. Because if it's something that a policeman seriously wants and doesn't know the law as to how to ask for it, that would be truly distressing, end quote. So you have the commissioner of police saying she is going to have this conversation with the Minister of National Security. That was in August of last year. Then you come to February of this year, and the minister is acting almost as if no one has ever had a conversation with him. He doesn't understand what the problem is. And I say all of that to say that in between the time from then to now, what has been done? What has been done? Have we seriously looked at non-lethal weapons as an option? Because here we have the prime minister coming some 9 months later after the commissioner of police made that statement, saying that, you know, he's gonna look into it. So what has been done? Why hasn't this baby been birthed in the 9 months between then and now? You know, why is it something that so many months later, it's still up for discussion as to whether or not we're gonna move in that direction? Because I understand exactly what the commissioner was saying when she talked about the use of force. But if we have that as an available option, I think that, you know, quite a few people would be alive today that aren't with us because the police didn't have another option. So what is the minister doing about it? And how far is the prime minister going to take his words? Is he going to follow it up with action? I think that's important for us to know.
And then when you get on the heels, and those are great points, MJ, and I would like to see non-lethal weapons introduced if necessary, because like you say, lives can be saved in the process, both officers and civilians. However, when you hear, you know, allegations swirling from the other police shooting on Village Road, there are definitely some, and that needs to be investigated to the fullest.
And as swiftly as this case. We know that they received
Correct.
international pressure on this case that involved the American who tragically passed away on the weekend. As a matter of fact, I think about 5 minutes before coming on air, I see that Fox News is reporting that story out, so you can understand the wide audience that is about to hit. But I would like to see cases involving
internationally.
Yes, but I would also like to see cases involving Bahamians treated with as much seriousness and as swiftly as those that, you know, involve visitors.
And just touching on the Village Road incident, I'll be honest. Disclaimer: I knew the victim involved. That young man, I trained him for the Paradise Auction team. He later went on, which became Mama Lou's, which became Chopsticks. That is what you call a hotel individual. His whole life was working in the hospitality industry. And to know the allegations that are swirling from that incident, it needs to be investigated. Something is not right there, and it needs to be investigated. And the good officers on the force should not allow the alleged bad officers on the force to blemish the force any longer. But with the same justice that was delivered for Mr. Castillo, you need to deliver it for a fallen Bahamian son.
At least the investigation and some sort of a conclusion or direction as to where we're going with that case for sure is needed. And condolences to, you know, all of the families involved.
And I would like to send, especially to Norman's family, our thoughts and prayers go out to you. And like I said, I'm going to watch this play out. And if I need to speak on it, I will, because at the end of the day, we need to have justice in this country for all citizens. And the same justice we have and swift justice we have for foreigners, we need to have for Bahamians as well. I don't want to sound cold when I say it. Both situations are tragic. I'm praying for everybody involved, and I'm praying for the country. But at the end of the day, Bahamians have to matter equally in our own country, even in death, as anyone else from anywhere around the world. We cannot be displaced and made marginalized anymore. Cannot be. Let's go to the phone lines real quick. Talking Heads. Talking Heads. All right, caller, hit us back. if we had you on hold too long, you can let us back. Let me check the text lines. Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. That crap that the PM talked in the House of Assembly this morning about the power company in Freeport was garbage. I live in Freeport and our wattage and fuel surcharge is not doubled. BPL Freeport Power is only 3 cents above BPL, and Freeport Power is reliable. Tell him, speak what he knows, not what he's guessing. Naughty and MJ, if the PM didn't step in with that issue with the police killing the American, that police was going scot-free. Well, what about the alleged Bahamians being killed allegedly by police and police allegedly going scot-free?
Well, I wouldn't say that, they would go scot-free. I think that may be an assumption some people have, but it's not necessarily what we've seen in the past. But I mean, I understand the concerns.
Good afternoon, Naughty and MJ. Why every time I hear Mr. Raymond Rose speak, it sounds like he's be defending these off-duty police when they get drunk up and kill innocent people. Words, has the commissioner finished the fire equipment plan after the last disaster? Every disaster is more words on words on words. They got you there on that one, Mr. Monroe. Let's go back to the phone lines, MJ. Callers are back. Talking heads.
Good day.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Congrats on the awards again.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Thanks
you.
so much.
Yeah, no problem. But after these officers, what I feel like it comes from the top. The leadership in the country doesn't hold them accountable. So, that's the first time I've ever heard Braves say anything about the officers not above the law. And everyone is saying, that it came from him, but it came from the U.S. Embassy.
We got a new ambassador in town, man. We got a new sheriff.
Huh?
I said we got a new ambassador in town, Mr. Walker. We got a new sheriff, so obviously, pressure will be applied.
Yeah, for sure. And the second thing I want to speak on,
you still there, caller? All right, caller, hit us back.
Caller. Yeah.
I think you dropped, caller. Hit us back. Let's get to the other call. Talking heads.
Good afternoon to both of you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, at the risk of reiterating what I heard, you did a clip. Her words were to this effect. Apparently, this incident will cause us to look at probably finding ways. Listen to those words. Cause us to look, meaning they probably never looked, at probably finding ways. She's not certain about finding ways. Her words, her phrases, lack levels of uncertainty. It's mixed. And also lacks authority. So, Naughty, I don't expect much to come out of this commissioner, okay? Because she needs incidents to cause her to look and then probably find ways. And those are her words. Hold her to it. Thanks, man.
Thanks. That was in August of last year. She did say that she would be speaking with the Minister of National Security. That's why I found it weird that in February of this year, Mr. Monroe kind of acted like nobody has approached him or talked to him. He used the word distress. He would be distressed if this is something that they wanted and nobody has said anything. But then I often wonder what he considers to be saying it to him, If the police commissioner says, and that was something that was aired on the local news stations, by the way, the commissioner's words, what more does Mr. Monroe need with, whatever parties he needs to, and come up with a plan? I mean, it's out there. Bahamians have been crying for maybe alternative weapons, so that we don't have these situations where people pass that maybe, they could have been subdued with less lethal force. What else does he need to get it moving in that direction? If he's the chief policymaker in the Ministry of National Security, I mean, what more do you need? Maybe they didn't write you a proper letter and send it to you, but the door, and the phone works both ways. You could also have a conversation with the commissioner, and if it's something that she wants and something that the staff association wants, then why not sit down and figure it out? Like, just get it done. And I think that's the frustrating part for a lot of Bahamians, which is that we hear the words, but where's the action? Where's the follow through? Had they begun the process back in August, where would we be today, I wonder?
I tell you, and we got to stop being so, reactive. We need to be proactive rather than reactive. When we see things on the horizon, we need to deal with them in a proactive way if we can, rather than a reactive. The phone lines are full, MJ. Let's get back into the lines. Talking heads.
Hey, great show as usual. Naughty and MJ, how you doing?
Good afternoon.
Right, good afternoon. Yeah, I just want to find out, right, what is your view? Because I called a couple of shows before on 96.9, right, about what your view is on the use of rubber bullets. Bear in mind, rubber bullets are used for controlled crowds, right? But at least is a form of weapon to subdue someone. I mean, you could get killed from a rubber bullet now. Don't leave me wrong, but guess what? At least that's only at close range. But at least I better be getting nailed from a real bullet. Unless you just put down the person opposed and they live. And they carry them to court opposed to killing them.
Yeah.
Or the taser gun. And
you got
you will get hit with a taser gun either, but it's rare to get hit from a bullet.
You have concussion grenades, you have non-lethal bullets, you have rubber bullets, you have pellets, you have the degrees of mace and tasers, like you said. There's options that can be used depending on the circumstance before it gets to a lethal proportion.
Yeah, I think we need to start reviewing those things. All right.
Thank you so much.
As always, let's get to the other calls. Talking heads.
Okay. I didn't get cut off. So call back.
Hey, go ahead, caller.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so the second thing I want to speak on is with the Commissioner of Police, where she said that, speaking about the non-lethal weapons, she made it sound like, Bahamians have the right to bear arms, like we're in America, where you allow persons, going out to target the police and trying to,
Well, I'm sure that is not what she intended to convey, because she'd be quite aware that that's not the situation. So maybe it might just be the way she phrased it. But I don't think that's
at the end of the day, she's trying to find reasons not to bring in non-lethal weapons. That's how it came off.
Well, she did actually say that she would speak with the Minister of National Security about it. And then he spoke about it in February of this year when he had the back and forth with the Police Staff Association. So I wouldn't say necessarily that she doesn't want to bring it in. I just think that the decision makers, Mr. Monroe, needs to tell us where he stands.
I wonder if they still believe that there's only one or two bad apples on the police force.
Yeah, there are a lot of good officers, but obviously a lot of work needs to be done.
Yeah, for sure. They need to bring back community policing where police actually go into the community and interact with people. So they won't be looking at them as, targets or shot practice.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Good points, caller. We got to get to the other calls, but good points, and thanks for calling back. Talking heads.
Hey, Naughty and MJ, good afternoon.
Hey, Jeff.
What's happening, Jeff?
Right here. Listening to this conversation very closely. In fact, you'll also listen to the clips played by the now commissioner, as well as even the commentary from the National Security Minister. Here's something that we have to consider. Even we are so fascinated and we're talking about non-lethal bullets and stuff. We also have to take in consideration that non-lethal weapons are also dangerous to persons depending upon their condition.
Yes.
You could use a non-lethal weapon on someone who's suffering from cardiac arrest. From heart problems. You don't know that.
Correct.
You could use who has an allergic reaction or have respiratory issues. We don't know that. So no matter which device we decide to use, there is the potential, may not happen to me, may not happen to you, but to somebody else, you could actually kill them with that weapon. The second thing, what is so glaringly obvious here, is how efficient our court system is in this particular matter. We got backlogs of cases, and I'm not saying that we have numerous of cases that is very similar to this one, but it goes to show you that the court system does work. It should not depend on who is before the courts. We have backlog of cases. Why can't we get rid of cases with the same expedition that this case was actually put before the courts, heard, and the person is charged? So all this thing now comes front and center for a lot of Bahamians now, that we thought that, hey, the system could not go no faster than what we are accustomed to. But it shows that, hey, the system can move with the right people, the right prompting, and you know, it's just really fascinating to me how quickly this case, in a matter of days, came to be. Why? Because of Big Brother? Come on, man, we got to do better. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah. No.
Good stuff, Jeff. Appreciate it as always.
No, I think that's a legitimate seems to move when it's just all Bahamians involved. Whereas we know for a fact that because we read that the U.S. Embassy had a very strong position on this and they let it be known. I mean, it was published in the newspapers. And so we see with that kind of pressure how quickly, you know, the wheels of justice begin to turn. I think that Bahamians just want the same rights when it comes to our situations and our cases as we can afford to show others when we're getting pressure, you know, by a big country.
Well, we got to get to the break, MJ. But before we get to the break, let me just put out this, announcement to all my PLP friends out there. Can you please check on your chairman? It is 4:40. I need you to check on your chairman. Make sure he is well. Make sure he's not wandering aimlessly in Grand Bahama, thinking he's in Marco City, then he's in Dover Sound, and so on and so forth.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, please, can you check on Mr. Mitchell? I know he's going through some issues lately, and, you know, if you have somebody like me who has carried him to task for his foolishness over the years, actually trying to step in and be the voice of intervention, you know we are dealing with a desperate situation here, so please, can we get an update on Mr. Mitchell's condition? Is he still wandering aimlessly, or has he caught himself yet?
This is not what that reaction on Facebook was not what he expected when he posted those pictures. He will think twice before he does it again, I would think.
You think? Anyway, let's take the quick break. Flip side of the break, we'll be back. And I got to tell you, man, listen, I got to tell you, listeners, about, and MJ encouraged me to pick up a hobby after Joker's closed. I think I finally found a hobby, MJ.
Well, we'll talk about that on the other side of the
break. It ain't golf.
You're listening to Talking Heads on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. We will be right back.
KFC got that crispy onions crunch. Take a bite, it's a smile. Sweet onion sauce drip, happy running down my side. Pepper jack cheese, bring a little playful wow. Brioche bun soft like a cloud on this ride. KFC, get chicky with it. Hey. Tastes sweet, side of things. Every single bite, so lit it. Got my whole crew doing that thing. Crispy onion, sweet onion sauce. Pepper jack cheese, going on.
Introducing the new Sweet Chicky Chicken Sandwich at KFC.
Let's get chicky with it. You try the rest, but roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and banners, magazines and flyers. For window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it. Just give us a call. Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Put more money back in your pocket with the Fidelity Debt Consolidation Loan. Why pay more when you can pay less? Reduce your monthly debt payments down. Apply for a Fidelity Debt Consolidation Loan today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Tech giving you trouble? For 85 years, the Armory Company has been fixing it. Your parents trusted us. Your grandparents trusted us. And today, you trust us too. Since 1941, we've been the Bahamas' trusted tech partner. From laptops and ink to access control and gate motors, we deliver reliable products backed by service that goes beyond the sale. Call 397-1600 or visit our updated showroom behind Wendy's on Mackey Street. The Armory Company, celebrating 85 years of serving you.
Craving something bold, fresh, and unforgettable? Tropical Gyros is your flavor-packed escape, a Carib-Greek fusion born right here in Nassau. From juicy grilled salmon, chicken, and pork gyros to loaded bowls, fresh salads, wings, and more. There's something for every craving. Find Tropical Gyros at any of their locations, JFK Plaza, Rosetta Street, Port Lucaya Freeport, or their franchise spots on Prince Charles Drive, Soldier Road West, Delaport, and Carmichael Road. Tropical Gyros, not just good food, it's an experience.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty and Mary Jane. Only on Guardian Radio, 96.
Are you buzzing on? Brought to you by John's Shoes.
I say he that keepeth his mouth, you know, they shall belong.
We're back at you on the Wednesday, March 25th edition of Talking Heads. Your boy Naughty and MJ in your company right up until 6 p.m. We're into the buzz. All brought to you, of course, by John Shoes. 4:44 p.m. is the time. And I can't tell you a word of lie. You know, I appreciate my wife encouraging me to take up a hobby. And, you know, I was thinking of a hobby. You thought it was going to be golf, huh, MJ?
Well, you talk about it all the time. You want to golf?
I think I'm going to watch more golf than I play. You know, I'm not trying to displace the old Baco. I still got back issues. I'm not trying to end up like Tiger. You know what I mean? In any way, shape, or form. So I found something else that it might work.
What's that?
Fishing.
Oh, fish. Oh, like gone fishing. Okay.
No, like fishing. Like gone fishing. Now, you know I watch Deadliest Catch. You know I watch the wild tuna shows, you know what I mean? You know, so obviously I kind of was looking around and said, okay, what can we get into? Then I see, you know, Andrew Knowles with Born to Fish always out there. Then I see a couple others out there doing their fishing thing. I see Peter Murray doing his thing. I see Rademacher doing his thing. I'm like, all right, I got to get into fishing. Well, I got an invite from Harborside Marine. Naughty, be here, you interested in getting out on the boat and so on and so forth. Come have a look. Listen here. When I went in that store today, MJ, you remember when we were in North Carolina and we went to the Outdoor Sportsman and I said, boy, that's like the redneck Super Bowl. It was just like every indoors fishing, gaming, hunting, everything.
Right. It's like a Bass Pro Shop, right? Or something like that.
Correct.
Right.
Man, I gone in there today. They got scooters, they got motorbikes, they got dirt bikes. Then they got the whole bevy. I mean, every cooler you can imagine, they got. Every size, they got. Every size hook, they got.
You're in heaven.
Could catch Megalodon. That's how big the hook was. The hook was like 4 foot. But everything as far as, listen, if you're into fishing and you're into boating, that is like the one-stop shop. That is one great emporium, man. Shout out to Harborside Marine. And like I said, I'm glad they're coming on board as sponsors. And like I said, I'm glad that I got to go down there and take it in. There's a lot of things we need to talk about. And I got plenty fishing stories ready to come at you all. So, you know, when you hear me say I gone fishing, me and MJ gone fishing. Okay? And if you cool with us, we'll share some of the spoils. If not, we can eat it all. But thank you again too for the fish that was delivered our way as well too from that Harborside Marine crew. Fresh tuna, fresh mahi. That mahi.
Like we cooked that so fast. That didn't even hit the fridge.
Ate that even faster.
There's nothing like fresh fish. It's absolutely delicious, you know.
But I'm looking forward to getting everybody caught up with everything that's going on at Harborside Marine as far as, you know, for their own personal gain, as far as their boats, you know, improving their boating, improving their fishing, and improving, you know, whatever they need to when they get out there on the water. There's a bevy of products there at Harborside Marine, and we're going to bring them to everybody and get everybody caught up so they can enjoy boating to the fullest with the best products and the best, you know, quality products from Harborside Marine. And like I said, big them up for coming on board as sponsors. And yeah, man, I'm looking forward to fishing. I get fishing in. How about that?
Yeah. Good.
And no, though, I do want to just touch on it, though. And I need to know, you know, I want folks to know how important our blue economy is. And the businesses that are involved, though, not just with the fishing aspect of it and the sports fishing, but the yachting and so on and so forth. I mean, Harborside does all the repairs as well for the major yachts and whatnot. And talking with folks out there that work out there and work on the projects, we definitely need to do something about that 14% yachting fee. That is crazy. That
Yeah,
is
but I still
killing it.
think about that caller that told us that there was the one lady who had bought a bunch of washing machines, and then
Correct.
the business just isn't there. So yeah, it's definitely, it can't be back of mind. I know that the ministry talks about revising or reviewing the decision that they made that has caused the fall off. But they saw a 50% reduction. So hopefully it's not more words like the caller said, and that there's some actual action to turn things around.
And then what else needs to be looked at too is the fishing industry as well too. We need to rein that in a little bit.
Of course.
When you have foreign entities coming in fishing, not paying for permits and licensing fees, and taking back over
That is a
18 or
problem.
more, fish, and I'm talking big fish. I'm not talking small
A
fish.
wonderful, beautiful fish. Exactly.
But like I said, if y'all, especially in the sports, brace yourself though. You can hear fishing stories, okay? Because I going out there to catch megalodon.
There
And
you
like I
go.
said, the prices are awesome and quality products as well too, man. So shout out to Harborside Marine. Looking forward to having them come on board in April and do big things with Talking Heads and the Press Box. And like I said, I'm looking forward to fishing as much as possible, man. Me and MJ, when you hear stories now, well, what y'all do today? Well, at 5 this morning, MJ and I were out. We were heading toward the Exumas to go fish. It's that kind of party, all right, folks. So we'll keep you informed.
Speaking of fishing, I'm still fishing for an explanation as to why we're moving to acquire the Grand Bahama Power Company. I told you guys I would listen to, as they debated it in the House of Assembly, right? Well, I spent all morning listening. I got a chance to listen to the Prime Minister as well as the Minister for Grand Bahama, Ginger Moxie, and I still don't have a clear reasoning.
Wait, stop. And I say this with the most love, respect, and admiration, and not trying to downplay myself. And for any of you smart-eyed callers who try to pick up on it later and call in, I can deal with you accordingly. But if you the brains of the operation, if you the brains of the Talking Head Mod Squad crew, the beauty and the brains, and you don't have an idea what's going on, expect me to know. How you expect Pearlie to know?
Maybe
he was counting on you to know.
No, well, I listened. I did my job. I listened this morning, and I was really trying to hear them lay out a reason as to why we're going this route. And then I also wanted answers to some questions, because if the overarching goal is to bring electricity costs in Grand Bahama online with what it is in New Providence, then there are a lot of questions that the government has to answer. I got a chance to listen as well a little bit to Shivago earlier. And if you guys didn't listen to that show, I would advise you to listen to the replay of it, because I think he did an excellent job breaking down, the costs in Grand Bahama versus the costs in New Providence. But as for the deal itself, there's $280 million. We still don't have an independent valuation of the Grand Bahama Power Company. We still don't have a rate impact model. We still don't understand everything concerning the finances. We don't understand the projected savings. And I don't understand, whether those savings are going to come from real efficiencies or if they're just simply moving costs onto the taxpayers. And I got to tell you, that is my major concern. Like, are we just shifting around the burden so it's not front loaded, but it's back loaded to the taxpayers? Because we're both like some sort of subsidy is going to have to take place to bring prices all in line. And then on the back end, you're going to pay for that, as well as the interest on the loan that we're taking out. And we don't even know if the loan is sufficient. I don't know if 80 million in capital expenditure is enough to bring it up to modernization, as they said. I don't know if the government is going to run the company, what they're going to do with the employees that are already there, whether or not they're going to do what they did here in Nassau with BPL and bring
hold
in
on, MJ.
private investors.
But
I don't know.
At some point, we're going to have to get the power provision. And no offense, but allegedly all of the foreign power providers have left New Providence.
Oh, well, I mean,
and protest to that incident, and therefore, i.e., I don't know how we could brag about providing anything if the teams aren't in place to provide.
Well, that hasn't been confirmed, but let's be real. There have been some rumors that maybe some persons that are employed may have returned home, whether it's temporary to wrap their heads around and grieve for the incident that involved one of the employees on the weekend, or whether it's more permanent. We have no idea. No one has spoken about this yet, but maybe that's something that'll be reported out in the next day or two if that is the case. But no doubt that they're going through it down there at Pike and Bahamas Grid, because
For sure.
this was an employee
It's
that,
understandable.
yeah, a young man that lost his life. But yes, so many questions regarding this deal, and two speeches, the two main persons. Surprised the energy minister didn't play a bigger role in also, but maybe she'll give a presentation as well.
Callers, we're coming to you now. Speaking of the minister of education, minister of transportation and energy. Listen here. Stop turning the House of Assembly into a peanut gallery. Minister JoBeth Colby Davis.
She's not the only one. In the words of The
Rock, know your role and shut your mouth. Let people talk when they're talking, and stop the annoying sophomoric additions and repeating. You sound like a drunken parrot. You need to be able to present. When people ask you questions, we want to hear you when it's your time to talk. When it's not your time to talk, we don't need to hear you.
Well, she's not the only one. Everyone in the House, and I was particularly surprised.
But hold on, she's the loudest one. She's the most squawkiest one. She's bringing chicken head back with her antics in the House.
I hear others as well. I don't just hear her. There are others as well. But my point is, there was a very important presentation this morning and important questions, surrounding the very expensive purchase. And all we kept hearing is banging on the table, laughing, screaming. It was so loud, like I couldn't hear the questions or the points or whatever. And sometimes I wonder if these folks take their job seriously. Like, you need to explain to the Bahamian people, never mind about the opposition. And I say that in disrespect. The government has the numbers. If they want to pass these resolutions, they're going to pass. This morning, I thought, was the opportunity to tell us, the Bahamian people, exactly why you are borrowing in our name, adding more than $250 million to our debt, and why it is that you're going this route in terms of what's happening with the Grand Bahama Power Company. There was no explanation. I need a fuller explanation, and they just refuse to give it to us. I don't know if they think we're slow. I don't know if they think we won't understand. I don't know if they think, it's too complicated. I don't know if they just don't respect us enough to feel that they value us and value giving us an explanation. But I need an explanation. And I think many Bahamians do.
And less antics and for lack of a better word, peanut gallery antics out of the current administration. And let's be honest with you. Can somebody get Minister Queef Bell some pom-poms and a tutu? Because he is the biggest cheerleader around. And he did not apologize for calling Fort Charlotte. So now I got to get on his antics, his fanboy cheerleader antics in the House of Assembly. You need to stop. You just need a tutu and pom-poms, Mr. Bell.
You still mad about that Freudian slip or whatever that was?
No,
right?
I'm wondering if he's trying to audition for the San Francisco 49ers cheerleaders, because they do the only NFL team to have male cheerleaders. I think he's trying to audition for that. I need to know what's going on.
Who's the BLT candidate for Fort Charlotte? Maybe he needs to go check Mr. Bell for calling us that very terrible name the other day.
Yeah,
crazy.
Maybe Sabas need to go rein you in, and Travis need to go rein you in.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll only listen.
But I got to wonder what's going on with Mr. Bell. A couple of months ago, man, remember that dancing video where he was totally freaking himself out and dancing and shaking up and sweating heavily?
Did you say freaking himself out?
He been on a spiral ever since then, and it ain't an upward spiral, I'll tell you that much.
We have callers, right?
Yeah, let's go to the phone lines. Talking Heads.
Naughty and MJ.
Good afternoon.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
To your congratulations. That's really what I had called to say. But then when MJ said this now, she's fishing for a reason. I just thought I'd, pick on MJ line, then Naughty. You just feel for the little pick, and then you got to stick them. So I thought I'd pick the MJ line. MJ, they can't come out and just outrightly say that they won't give the oil the provision for providing fuel to Frankie. They can't just come out and blanketly say that just like that. They got to make it look good, and so they got to give Frankie something before they leave. And this the last hurrah before they leave. So they can't just come out and outrightly say it just like that. So there you have it, MJ.
Boy, I was thinking long. Boy, they gotta take care of one of their big time campaign donors,
boy.
You gotta make sure to take care of Frankie. Frankie's allegedly a big time
Y'all
campaign
are so
donor, correct?
suspicious. We do not know any of that. We don't know anything at all, as a matter of fact.
Well, I'll tell you this. Bunker C will never stop running in this country in our lifetime. We'll cross Jordan and Bunker C will still be running in this country. And the same families will still be making off of our families for the Bunker C still running in this country.
Do we have any other callers?
The more things change, the more they stay the same. No, we got flip side of the break. We'll get to the break. We'll get to the news. Flip side of the news. We'll get into the 5 o'clock hour. We'll talk about some more things. Obviously, we're still trying to figure out what they're trying to do in Grand Bahama with the power company and the purchase down there. And there's some other things we do need to talk about as well and address. So that's all coming up. And yes, we got to talk about the waterways at Ararat Key. Again, instead of acting like a drunken pirate in the House of Assembly, Minister Kobe Davis, you should be addressing what's going on down there at the back of Ararat Key with the derelict boats. That does fall under transport, correct?
Yeah, maybe environment as well, I would think. I think it's environment at this point.
Oh, and I got to talk to Mr. Clay Sweetnessville, to the Minister of Waste. I hear you carrying on bad on Dwight's show this morning, but you forgot to mention a couple of things which you need to take care of. And I got to remind you about them in Abaco, too. So I got to talk to you after the break, too, Clay. Your jumper looking better on TikTok. Still not like Larry Bird, but it's improved. Anyway, let's get to the break. Flip side of the break, the news is coming up. And right out of the news, we'll be back at you right here on Talking Heads.
Yeah, you are go bar, say see a kaya mountain. You are go weed, say see a kaya teeth. Creation make your ball, see a kaya mount. Every thief is a liar, every liar is a thief. Yes, remember you tell me, Teflon head. Then you tell Teflon, can he say it him like a dose of poison? Don't believe you.
Naughty Johnny's restaurant can only be described as the experience you want to recreate again and again and again. Their motto is simple food done well. You're welcome into their home at Naughty Johnny's, where you can dine on crack conch fritters, and other Bahamian favorites. There's also an international flair that's guaranteed to offer something for everyone. Enjoy a good meal and listen to a live band on their patio Friday and Saturday nights, or brunch on Saturday and Sunday, only at Naughty Johnny's restaurant in the Old Town Plaza, Old Fort. They're open 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Friday, 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. on Saturday, and 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. on Sunday. Naughty Johnny's. Well, what the...
John Shoes and Accessories is your one-stop shop for all your footwear needs. You will find what you're looking for among the growing collection of classic and trendy styles, with new arrivals every week. John's covers the whole family and has great prices, helpful and friendly customer service. Your experience shopping with us will be time well spent. Shop with us online at www.johnshoes.com. John's also now carries small home appliances, so come on into John's, located on Rosetta Street in Palmdale and Carmichael Road West. John's, we put fashion at your feet.
It's back. Agri-Expo 2026, presented by the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources, April 10th through 12th at the Gladstone Road Agriculture Center. Agriculture, our heritage, our future, comes alive with the latest farming technologies, exciting cooking demonstrations and competitions, Bahamian farmers and vendors from across the islands, fun for the kids at the Kitty Corner, nightly musical concerts, and free admission for everyone. Bring the whole family and celebrate what feeds our nation. Agri-Expo 2026. Let's get growing.
New roads and airports are connecting our islands. Energy reform is bringing electricity prices down, while young Bahamians are stepping up, gaining new skills for new opportunities. Respect for workers. Support for entrepreneurs. We're modernizing energy and infrastructure across our islands and preparing Bahamians to succeed in a new economy. Transformations this big take time. Let's choose progress. Paid for by the PLP.
KFC got that crispy onions crunch. Take a bite, it's a smile. Sweet onion sauce drip, happy running down my side. Pepper jack cheese, bring a little playful wow. Burrito bun soft like a cloud on this ride. KFC, get chicky with it. Hey. Taste the sweet side of things. Every single bite, so lit it. Got my whole crew doing that thing. Crispy onion, sweet onion sauce. Pepper jack cheese, going on.
Introducing the new Sweet Chicky Chicken Sandwich at KFC.
Let's get chicky with it.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty and Mary Jane. Only on Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
Nice say eat that keep it his mouth, you know.
Talking Heads with Naughty and MJ is brought to you by The Armory Company, Burger King, Kalina Insurance Limited, Fine Threads, John's Department Store, KFC, the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources, Naughty Johnny's, Prince Masters, the Progressive Liberal Party, and Tropical Gyros.
Me granny tell me from your little baby, he that keep at his mouth shall stay out of problem. It seems like it was a things carrying dread, so I ain't carrying on. Same out that chatter with me, well, chatter of him, murder rap big in farm. Oh, Jay. Your mouth I go put you in a problem. Whoa. Hey. Oh, Jay. I said your mouth I go put you in a problem. Yeah. You are go bad, say see it by your mouth. You are go weak, say see it by your teeth. Creation make your ball. See it by your mouth, every thief is a liar, every liar, yes. Remember you tell me, Teflon head, then you tell Teflon.
We're back at you on the Wednesday, March 25th edition of Talking Heads. Your boy Naughty along with MJ and your company right up until 6 p.m. We're into the 5 o'clock hour. We will talk sports. I'm going to get to your text. We are going to go over a little bit, but we will talk sports. I promise. But right now, let's get to the phone lines, MJ. Talking Heads.
Hey, Naughty.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Naughty. Now, I
Why you breaking
trying to condemn the police. Well, you know, one bad apple shouldn't spoil all of them. Okay? Now, we banging on this one case. Yeah, the case, right after that, the officer got shot. You know, he minded going to
hold on now. There are allegations swirling contrary to that right now. So we gotta let that one play out and get the full story.
Okay. Well, I only can say what they say. You know, I ain't gonna say nothing more.
Right, but I could also say, you know, there's been commentary on it that goes counteracted to what was said. So let's find out what the official statement is, because not an official statement hasn't been put out yet. But full investigation hasn't been done.
Point. Our police officers have to be armed. These fellas ain't coming with no rubber bullet. They coming with the real thing. And it could be lead versus rubber. And you know who will win in that.
That's a great point. That is a great point. But what about this? If you're off duty, shouldn't your off-duty revolver stay at home?
Well, yeah, that's my point. You're off duty.
I mean, when you're in public and you're in plain clothes and you're allegedly under the influence, shouldn't that revolver be at home? Shouldn't that stay at home as well?
You had a whole say a police officer never off duty. You heard that right?
Yeah, but that means it's off duty. If you're allegedly drinking at the bar, you're in no condition to be in possession of that kind of a service revolver.
Well, we're talking in generally speaking.
If some drinking, I mean, I could go in a bar, sit down, and just drink one soda. I didn't say I drink it. But here's my point.
Yeah, no. And I don't think it pertains to this specific case, but in general, you know, off-duty, I mean, police officers have to wind down too. You know, they have a very high-intensity job. They should have times when they wind down, and it's just a question as to whether or not they should still be armed during those times. So I think that's the question.
I heard you all, and I listened good, and I always call. And I mean, I call off and on. But here's my
You always call, and sometimes we agree and sometimes we disagree. That don't change nothing. You still all right with me?
Yeah.
Here's my point.
Go ahead.
We cannot throw our police under the bus. The police them need to tote the gun. Yes, bad decision made in some cases, but that don't always happen. I listened the other day. The two ladies get hijacked in the car. What the fella had? He had a gun. He ain't had no rubber gun. He had a gun. He hold him up, raped one.
No, I just want to
be call the police.
I just want to be clear that conversation surrounding non-lethal weapons does not mean to replace the actual guns with non-lethal weapons. they would be carried in conjunction with lethal weapons, so that in certain
And then
situations,
the choice to be made whether we make a non-lethal action or a
yes, not
lethal
carry
action.
one or the other. I think it's in conjunction with.
Okay. So they could carry the rubber and the illegal weapon.
Correct, but then it's
Yeah.
the officer's
And they make the
determination whether
decision.
it's a lethal force
Now I
initiative or
can
if it's
agree
a...
with you with that.
Right.
To carry a
Yeah,
rubber bullet.
that's what we're.
Yeah.
Well, anyhow, I go break down here, but saying, but the police don't need to carry rubber bullets.
No.
We off
No.
big time.
Yeah, no, we would never want that. Of course, we wouldn't. Because the
They
criminals got plenty guns.
400 guns every year.
Yeah, criminals got some high-powered guns, so we definitely would not want that.
No way. Okay.
Yeah. Have a good one. Thank you, caller.
Yeah, no, don't let it be twisted. Obviously, we're saying that the police should carry their service revolvers while on duty, as well as non-lethal revolvers with the rubber bullet, and then be given the choice in the line of duty. Okay, is this a lethal force moment or is this a non-lethal force moment?
Yeah, I'm sure that is what the conversation is surrounding, because, we do have a situation where sometimes they encounter persons with mental health challenges. And in that situation, you would want them to have, another option that may, ensure that the person doesn't die on them,
And with all due respect, when I say this, having a badge does not give you the right to operate outside of the law when you're off duty.
I mean, there should be some clear. I think when the Prime Minister spoke about this issue about whether or not, looking at the policy surrounding carrying a weapon off duty, I think he's speaking to all of that needs to be examined. Clearly there are times when they're off duty. Otherwise, how do they even live a life?
Well, I got to make sure I'm
how do
coming
they
from the
wind
PM.
down?
He misspeaks sometimes, so I want to make sure.
How do they wind down? There should be clear lines and clear rules surrounding when you're on duty versus when you're off duty. Now, I've heard the expression police officers never, but the press release quite clearly said he was off duty. And I think we all understand what off duty means in this instance.
All right, let's get to the text lines, MJ. Buckle up, here we go. Naughty and MJ, if the PM didn't step in with that issue with the police killing the American, that police was going scot-free.
No, I don't think that necessarily would have been the case. Now, the speed in which this is, moved in a particular direction, oh, for sure, I agree 1,000%. I mean, the U.S. has put a lot of pressure. As a matter of fact, we have a statement from the U.S. Ambassador, Herschel Walker, who says that he is, quote, pleased that the government of the Bahamas has brought murder charges against a police officer involved in the shooting death of an American citizen. Mr. Walker also went on to say and offer the FBI to support the Royal Bahamas Police Force. Oh, my goodness. I mean, it's a lot
But
happening.
here's another one. Naughty, because an American was killed, they would have never talked about changing the law. Got some more calls. Let's get back to the phone lines. Talking Heads.
Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hello, yes. I've long said that there's only one compliment I can pay to the Royal Bahamas Police Force, is that they are necessary. But you know what else is necessary but unpleasant? Toilet paper. So that's my compliment.
Oh, boy.
Don't be a stranger, man. I like your sense of humor, man.
Oh, boy, that's rough. But there are a lot of officers that work really hard, that do their job to the best of their ability.
And some
we have problems.
is rough, too.
Yeah, we have some real major problems, and we need to see some reform. It's just disappointing that we start these conversations, and then you come back months later, something else happens, another incident happens, and then, we're right back at square one. Nothing was done in the intervening time between August of last year, when the commissioner first made the comments about, non-lethal weapons and the use of force in general, and this weekend where we saw 2 off-duty officers involved in fatal incidences. So, yeah, I think they got some problems for real, and we just need to see a quicker, just like you responded fast to this incident that involves the U.S. Embassy, we need to see that same speed when it comes to making decisions that are going to keep everybody, including and especially well.
All right, let's get back to the text lines. Naughty MJ, the commander-in-chief, is steering a rudderless ship. There are too many subordinates doing what they want to do without any punishment.
Hello, yes. I've long said that there's only one compliment I can pay to the Royal Bahamas Police Force, is that they are necessary. But you know what else is necessary but unpleasant? Toilet paper. So that's my compliment.
All And years ago, when this show first came on, I made the comment. I said, listen, the Davis administration is going to go on the body. This is like a fight. Brave is popular. People like Brave. So he's like the head. You ain't gonna touch the head. The only way to beat this fighter is to attack the body, and the body being the cabinet and the MPs and the subordinates, and they have failed him miserably. So here we are. You got to know how to counterpunch in boxing, and obviously, nobody was on the PRP was looking out for the counterpunch, and obviously they protected the head, but the body is taking damage.
I mean, in general, I think that when you have a parliament that's comprised of 41, well, right at this moment, 39 members, and then you have a cabinet comprised of those ministers that are all, supposed to be equal, and he is first amongst equals. Why is all of the work on the one person? I mean, we need to look at, teams. The right team, the right group of people. You can't just have one or two workers, the rest slackening off, and expect to move this country forward. We need teams of people where everybody understands that not only do you, but if you're sitting in a cabinet post, you have responsibility for the whole country to make sure that your area is covered. You understand? The fact that the Prime Minister came out with this statement before even the Minister of National Security said something that was strong and definitive on this tells you a lot, All
right, let's get back to the phone lines. We got another call there, Mr. Producer? Talk. Okay, no problem. They dropped. They can call us back. Let me pick up with the text. Naughty and MJ, was there a murder in Nassau last night? Yes, unfortunately, another one in South Beach, if I'm not mistaken.
Very sad, yeah. Yeah, another murder. It's sad, all these killings,
Naughty and MJ, I haven't heard anything about Fred Mitchell's town hall meeting in Freeport, Grand Bahama last night. For Brave, you all need to check up on him.
Oh, stop it.
I still try. Mr. Mitchell is still.
Where the minister is.
Hey, you all write this down in the annals of history. The naughty one actually concerned about the well-being of Fred Mitchell. He was missing from Parliament.
You think he's still out there wandering around in Dover Sound? It is quite confusing up
Well,
there.
he is a septuagenarian, and now I'm starting to wonder. Now I'm starting to have grave concerns.
Behave.
Listen, one time, if anybody in Freeport, my Freeport crew, if you all see Fred wandering around there, send me one picture, send me a call or text me and let me know that he's okay. That he's not crazier than he already is. Good evening, Naughty and MJ. I wish I could see the USA calling for the same investigation by the USA for those killings in Minnesota. I do not know what happened and will wait to hear the evidence. Well, first of all, if you're referring to the George Floyd case.
No, I think that referring to the more recent case
one?
that
Okay.
involved Renee Good, because it was a similar situation with a vehicle and an officer saying that he feared for his life, and that there hasn't been much movement from the federal level on that.
On the heels of Renee Good, too, a reporter that was killed as well, too?
No, there was another gentleman that was killed in Minnesota as well, who was filming the protest.
He was a nurse or something, correct? And he tried to separate the protest and whatnot, and was killed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a lady who had been pushed down by ICE agents, and he also got killed.
Soon we will have massive retirement by police. Society has to change so drastically, where conflict resolution has to be a part of the training. The case can be placed in trouble if this keep looking bad. Yeah, I mean, we look bad as it is because it's gone international. They're talking about it now.
Yeah, a lot of these cases of this nature that involve officers, sometimes they do become really big. The other gentleman killed in Minnesota is Alex Preddy. He was the one that was
correct
shot to death by ICE agents. So yeah, these cases do tend to get a lot of international attention.
All right. Now, there's something that needs to get some attention here. And I think we've talked about this. A lot of people have exercised and vocalized their points. And we'll continue to have the conversation. But there's other things that we do need to pivot to as well. One of them being the Saunders Beach area. Now, you've heard me go in on the verges, the actual deplorable condition of the beach overrun with seaweed, the breakers not being, the wooden breakers up the beach to prevent erosion. They're all broken and derelict. Sand is over into the actual roadway by 2 or 3 feet off the verge. Nothing done to clean up that area. And now, not only is the beach deplorable, and whoever's been contractually rewarded to clean those verges in Saunders Beach is doing a horrible job. Now the waterway is becoming overrun on the back portion of Ararat Key. There is a derelict fishing vessel that has run aground. It is rusting. It is rotting in front of our eyes. It's becoming a risk to the environment. It's becoming an eyesore, and it hasn't been moved. Made the owner of said vessel move it, and if they can't move it, why hasn't it been moved and the boat impounded? Why are we making the back of Ararat Key a graveyard for derelict barges, tugs, and former tourism boats that were involved in either parasail, booze cruise, catamaran, excursions? It is deplorable. It is an eyesore. It looks horrible.
I wonder sometimes about the view that persons have coming in on the ship when they start to approach Nassau. I wonder sometimes what that looks like, because we know that the beaches don't look as clean as they can look. I mean, the upkeep has been terrible, but I just wonder, what they see. And more importantly, we should be concerned about what Bahamians see. We've been talking about these beaches. I mean, honestly, Goodman's Bay, I don't know what's going on out there, but it is looking really popped down. Saunders Beach is looking popped down too. John Canoe Beach has always been a head scratcher, but these are like front-facing and really important beaches. Those are the beaches that Bahamians tend to frequent. Why do they look so bad? Like, you would think it wouldn't be difficult, particularly with the budget that we assign to, Beaches and Parks Authority. You would think that they would look better. But I don't get it. The parks don't look right, and the beaches don't look right either. Like, what are we doing? Are we behind paying contract workers, perhaps? Because I know we got $243 million in arrears. I mean, is nobody working on upkeep and maintenance? Maintenance has cost us so much money over the years, but to see it right there on the beaches, it's just kind of sickening, because I thought for a while there the beaches look, rather attractive, but now they're looking terrible. And it seems like nobody's who's responsible?
And you mentioned Goodman's Bay. I have signage saying keep off the grass. If you're going to let people just drive across the grass to a point where a whole new road has been made across the middle. And
Top with could look.
I never ask you, nothing when you tell me. I beg you daily to cease and still you keep talking. Me granny tell me from your little baby, he that keep at his mouth shall stay out of problem.
Craving something bold, fresh, and unforgettable? Tropical Gyros is your flavor-packed escape, a Carib-Greek fusion born right here in Nassau. From juicy grilled salmon, chicken, and pork gyros to loaded bowls, fresh salads, wings, and more. There's something for every craving. Find Tropical Gyros at any of their locations, JFK Plaza, Rosetta Street, Port Lucaya Freeport, or their franchise spots on Prince Charles Drive, Soldier Road West, Delaport, and Carmichael Road. Tropical Gyros, not just good food, it's an experience.
Tech giving you trouble? For 85 years, the Armory Company has been fixing it. Your parents trusted us. Your grandparents trusted us. And today, you trust us too. Since 1941, we've been the Bahamas' trusted tech partner. From laptops and ink to access control and gate motors, we deliver reliable products backed by service that goes beyond the sale. Call 397-1600 or visit our updated showroom behind Wendy's on Mackey Street. The Armory Company, celebrating 85 years of serving you.
Come back home. Remember the smell of fresh comforters in the air? The sound of laughter, the music playing while children run from game to game? Well, guess what? The Bahamas Red Cross Fair is coming back home. Join us for the Red Cross Fair, returning to the Lower Government House grounds on Saturday, March 28th at 12 noon. Bring the whole family and experience one of the country's most beloved traditions, filled with food, fun, music, and community spirit. The 82nd Bahamas Red Cross Fair. Come celebrate where memories are made.
You're listening to Talking Heads with Naughty and Mary Jane. Only on Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
I say he that keepeth his mouth, you know, they shall belong. I never ask you, nothing when you tell me. I beg you daily to cease and still you keep talking. Me granny tell me from your little baby, he that keepeth his mouth shall stay out of problem.
We're back at you on the Wednesday, March 25th edition of Talking Heads. Your boy Naughty along with MJ and your company right up until 6 p.m. Let me jump into the text, MJ, and then we can get back into the convo. And Esther, stun gun goes along.
That's taser, yeah. Example, you see they carry guns and taser, so maybe the suggestion
And
is about
nowhere in has brought up the body cams that said would be used by police for their administration. Every officer that goes out, there should be enough that they have body cams on, and when they engage, the body cams need to take everything in.
And this is why there needs to be clear rules around, you know, certain actions when you're off duty, because you would not be expected to be in uniform and to be wearing a body camera. So, yeah, they need to sort that policy out.
They do. I mean, like I said, it needs good, consistent dialogue to get us where we need to be in regards to the situation. But I think that it needs to be an option for both officer safety and civilian safety.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we look back and look at it and say, wow, could have this been avoided?
I'm just
Or
concerned.
if there were options, what would those options have been, and what the result might have been if the options were taken?
I'm just concerned about timelines, right? And even when we have this argument about what you can get done in 5 years, when you have certain situations come up, sometimes I can understand it taking long to resolve and figure out. But a lot of the times, I think that if you're focused, you could get some sorted out rather quickly. You know, like I said, you talked about it 9 months ago. It's 9 months later, and where are we? Did we advance any bit in that time? You know, I just think you need to show a little bit more, kind of like a attitude when it comes to some of these issues that are plaguing the country. Because if we just continue to talk and talk, and then there's no follow through, there's no action behind it, then where does that leave us? Exactly where we were a year ago, exactly where we were 5 years before that, 10 years before that, and so on and so forth. We need to take some action for people to be serious about their jobs and their positions and their responsibilities, and where changes need to be made, then get to making the changes. It shouldn't take forever for some of these things to get done.
Again, we have to be proactive rather than reactive. That's a big part of why we're in the situation that we're in.
Sure. And then on some instances, when you have really big deals, like this deal in Grand Bahama with the big loan that we're expected to back as taxpayers, you get an overnight decision with almost no consequence. With limited feedback from the public, and then on the small things, it just never gets done. It's just amazing to me.
There's a text right up that alley right there. Hello, Naughty and MJ. The $80 million for operation costs for the purchase of Grand Bahama Power Company on Grand Bahama could be for the recent solar plant's construction on the investigate immediately.
But if that's the model that you're moving towards, then you need to say that, so that we understand what this means. Because if bringing them down means bringing us all up a little bit, then that's something that the government should say. Then they're not being transparent on this at all. It's not a little bit of money. It's a lot of money. We're very close to elections. I personally feel like they need a fresh mandate in order to go ahead with this particular very big purchase. But it seems that they're just going to power it through and be content without speaking exactly what plans they have, what model they have for the Grand Bahama Power Company. And I don't see how that's good governance. I mean, we've been talking about transparency for years now, and even up to now, where we're just a few months away from an election, this administration, unfortunately, is still operating like and we're not going to tell you why we're doing it. We're not going to be in depth with our explanation. How is that good governance? It's not.
MJ, I just got a couple of updates. All right, let me bring you up to snuff with this one. But my point on the whole Grand Bahama purchase. Now, I'll be honest with you. Why is this administration so obstinate on doing things last minute in Grand Bahama? And they hear the public outcry, they hear the questions, but it's like they got their blinders on, eyes wide shut, headlong into oblivion. We're going to do this. But for what, though? Several texts have been brought up the point. Naughty, this sounds like they're trying to reward political cronies.
Well, we don't know, but they would need to say, do you plan to then once you acquire the Grand Bahama Power Company, do you plan to use the same model in Grand Bahama as you have used here in New Providence? And I don't or
MJ and I will be back. We'll wrap this up. We'll talk a bit of sports, and we'll get you ready with Rich Eisen, get us home. For those of you who've hit me up on the text line, yes, there is a little bit of technical difficulty. We are getting to the bottom of that right now. So keep it right where you got it. Talking Heads continues right after this.
I never ask you, nothing when you tell me. I beg you daily to cease and still you keep talking. Me granny tell me from your little baby.
KFC got that crispy onions crunch. Take a bite, it's a smile. Sweet onion sauce drip, happy running down my side. Pepper jack cheese, bring a little playful wow. Burrito bun soft like a cloud on this ride. KFC, get chicky with it. Hey. Taste the sweet side of things. Every single bite, so lit it. Got my whole crew doing that thing. Crispy onion, sweet onion sauce, pepper jack cheese going on.
Introducing the new Sweet Chicky Chicken Sandwich at KFC.
Let's get chicky with it.
This is definitely the time that we've made. There's now drone technology. There's now year-round container farming. You have hydroponics. You have aquaponics. You have precision farming. There have been record numbers of enrollments, record numbers of flat fishing certifications. We've had record enrollments in our online courses. Students from across the family of islands. Because in Bamsi, we are not just cultivating produce, we're cultivating producers.
With fine style, with elegant taste, then fine threads is your place. If you want those slacks hemmed or just taking the waist, then fine threads is your place. If you want to look suave and debonair everywhere you go, like you're supposed to be in a video, want to step out and look great, then fine threads is your place. With fine style, with elegant taste, then fine threads is your place, is your place, is your place.
Hey everyone, get ready for a night you won't forget. It's Z-Live's Far Back Friday Party with host Chicago Lang. Friday, March 27th, beginning at 7 p.m. Join us at Zapatilla Estate for a night of 80s and 90s music, dance, light bites, and refreshing drinks. Get your tickets at the Nassau Guardian between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. $50 per person. Cash sales only. It's Z-Live's Far Back Friday Party. Real music, lots of fun, eats and drinks, and oh so cool vibes. See you there.
Hey, Nassau! Get ready for the new and bold Barbecue Crispy King at Burger King. 2 100% flame grilled patties stacked with that irresistible onion crunch you love. Smoky barbecue sauce, crisp bacon, and melted cheddar, all on a buttery brioche bun. Crunch, bacon, cheese, flame grill flavor. Swing by any of Burger King's 6 Nassau locations and taste the new Barbecue Crispy King today. Burger King Nassau, where taste is on fire.
Talking Heads with Naughty and Mary Jane. Only on Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM.
I say he that keepeth his mouth, you know, they shall belong God. I never ask you, nothing when you tell me. I beg you daily to cease and still you keep talking. Me granny tell me from your little baby, he that keepeth his mouth shall stay out of problem.
We're back at you on the Wednesday, March 25th edition of Talking Heads. Your boy Naughty along with MJ and your company right up until 6 p.m. Going to pivot to sports right now. And MJ, big weekend coming up. I'm letting you know. March Madness continues, getting to the round of Sweet 16 and then the Elite 8. And yeah, it's getting closer. So if you see me, glued to the TV on the weekend, I'm telling you that's now why.
As much as I love basketball, I do not follow March Madness as closely. Like, who's the favorite to win this year?
Well, this year, interestingly enough, it's still wide open. And you've had some big upsets. You've had some big teams knocked off. Defending champ Florida got sent home in the second round.
Wow.
If you ask me a team that I think is consistently good enough to win it all, the Arizona Wildcats are one. Okay, but they have a big test against this Arkansas Razorback team coming up on the weekend. If they can knock them off on Thursday night, I think Arizona has a clear-cut path, bracket-wise, to where they need to be. Purdue is playing quietly good basketball, extremely good basketball. If you look over the Friday's games, you got Duke and St. John's. 2 powerhouse teams. Duke is large. If there was one team I think that could upset Duke, it is the Rick Pitino coach St. John's Red Storm. Watch out for the Red Storm and the upset there on Friday night.
Okay.
Michigan is another good squad that I think is solid, but they have a tough matchup against Alabama. I hate to say it, but UConn is poised to win another one, MJ.
On the men's side?
On the men's side, correct. They got a good draw, and if they get past Michigan State, they should be able to make a run.
And it may be the same on the women's side, right? Because aren't they always like one of the top teams as well?
Oh, Connecticut on the women's side is always in the conversation. You don't have to worry about have them in the conversation all year.
Exactly.
That doesn't change. But it should be some good games. So if you like college hoops starting tomorrow night, you got the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight coming up into the weekend. And then, we'll get you ready for Monday night because it's all boiling down. One of the best times of year. Like I said, if you like college basketball. If you like NBA basketball, it's heating up now. 10 games left in the regular season. Playoffs are right around the corner. We got Muff on the line, so let's go check in with Muff real quick. Muff, what's going on? Talking Heads.
Yeah, man, everything good. Hey, man, MJ, man, come on, man. I was trying to get it, man. You're a J Philippe, man. Be blessed, man. Be blessed, man. I was trying to get but y'all beat us, man. But okay, yeah, y'all beat us. You didn't look like the Hurricane, the Miami Hurricanes college basketball team, man. Okay, then, all right.
Yeah.
But I really think y'all coming out the West, though, with the Western Conference Finals winners, boy. Hey, and then probably get into the finals. Hey, but so. Naughty, the champion, he's playing with Washington, too. Because you see when he get in a fight with OKC that night.
That's his brother.
That's his brother. That's what I say. You see, that's how I get to know there's a thing. Because I say, when they trade him, and then when I check to them, my son say, no, man, that's his brother. Yeah, man. So that's what that's what he playing with Washington. Yeah. And your boy only jumped Jordan, but he's still behind Kobe, Naughty. So you ain't got to worry. Kevin Durant, he's still behind Kobe. And then LeBron, he get it. He take it from the Chief, one of the best centers played the game.
Man,
Robert Parrish.
Even if Kevin Durant ever passed Kobe, they would never recognize a dude with that bad a hairdo over Kobe any day of the week. Come on, man. We good with Kevin Durant. I ain't worried about him.
Yeah, that's some piece. Yeah. But Naughty, I think y'all get beat tonight, though. I think the Giants can beat y'all tonight, though. I get with the Giants.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we'll see that.
Feeling, I got a funky feeling a certain kid from the Bahamas who plays second base for the Yankees might have something to say about that tonight.
Yeah, Josh, yeah, let him go there and make us proud. All right, let someone else get it. Time almost gone.
All right, Muff. Be safe, man. Right. We can talk soon. But, your Spurs look good in the West, MJ. I cannot run from it.
Yeah, and I'm happy. It's been a long time coming, but we're back to where we're used to being.
All right, let me check out tonight's game so we can get them out of the way, get the picks in, and I got a couple of texts to get through that just came in based on our earlier conversation. All right, we got the Hawks and the Pistons. Detroit -1.5. Still no Cade Cunningham. I think there's a letdown tonight in Detroit, and I think the Hawks win this game tonight. Give me the Hawks +1.5. Lakers on the back end of a back-to-back taking on Indiana. Lakers 8.5-point favorites. I think they bounce back to win tonight, but I don't know if they cover the 8.5, so let's take the Lakers in the money line. 76ers and the Bulls. Maxey allegedly back in the lineup for the 76ers. Excuse me, VJ's been playing lights out. Again, I like the Sixers in the money line. I think the 7.5 points is too big of a cover, so take the Sixers in the money line. Thunder on the road taking on the Celtics. OKC -2.5 taking on the Celtics. Shy is back. I'm going to go with the Thunder -2.5 to upset the Celtics tonight. Heat on the road against the Cavaliers. Cleveland 2.5-point favorites. I think Cleveland's making a playoff push. Miami's got some issues to deal with. So I'm going to take the Cavaliers by the 2.5 at home tonight. Spurs and the Grizzlies. Spurs are 16.5-point favorites. No Ja Morant for the Grizzlies. But sometimes the Spurs, when they play a weaker team, they'll beat them, but they may not cover. All right?
That's for sure.
You might get some bench players in there. That 16.5 is a big cover. So let's go to Spurs and the money line. Spurs and the money line over the Grizzlies. Wizards and the Jazz. Do we have to pick that one? All right, coin flip. Give me the Jazz and the money line. Heads, it was Jazz. Tails, it was Wizards. It was heads. So we go with the Timberwolves. Give me the Rockets -1.5 over the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves got some injuries. Mavericks on the road against the Nuggets. Nuggets 11.5-point favorites. Again, they're a team that plays to the level of that competition. They may win, but that 11.5 might be a tough cover. So let's take Denver and the money line in that game tonight. All right? And we got a great Rich Eisen ready to take you home on the flip side of the break, Dolphin fans. Rich actually breaking down the move of Tua going to the Atlanta Falcons It's starting to be a smart move, and Tua may end up being the starter for the whole entire season in Atlanta. All right, so Tua might have the last laugh after all, Dolphin fans. So we'll get to a quick break, and then Rich Eisen will take us home on the flip side of the break. But for everybody who called in, texted in, chimed in, good stuff as always. For MJ, this is your boy Naughty. We'll see you tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow's Thursday. Pearly will see you tomorrow on Talking Heads, and we'll be back in on Friday. All right? You got anything to say before we get out of here, MJ?
Nope, we're good.
We'll see you tomorrow right here on Talking Heads.
It seems like it was a carrying jail. So I ain't carrying on. Same out that chatter with me. Well, chatter of him, murder rap begin farm. Oh, your mount I go put you in a.
Naughty back at you with my free pick of the day, brought to you, of course, by the Island Game. Today is Wednesday, and my free pick comes to you from the NBA. The Los Angeles Lakers on the road taking on the Indiana Pacers. I like the Lakers -7 over the Pacers. Lakers -7 over the Pacers. That's my free pick of the day. Play it and win with the Island Game. The game you know, the friends you trust. And the Island Game always reminds you to play responsibly.
You know who checked in today? Tua.
Oh.
Yeah. He held a press conference, not in Atlanta.
Where is he?
It looks like he's on his front porch. Looks like he got kicked out of the house. Like the kids just need to have you need to have your press conference in the foyer, or
can we help these guys?
That's
with
what it looks like.
Camera angles.
Yeah, it looks like he's got his phone or his iPad, underneath his chin.
Yeah,
and it does look like he's on his front porch.
It does,
holding a press conference as the newest quarterback in Atlanta. You know how I feel about this.
He's going to be week 1.
I think he's going to be. I mean, Penix is hurt, and also
exactly.
Well, we'll get to that a little bit more in a second. But Tua had some interesting things to say, including what went down with him in what turned out to be his final season in Miami.
My play wasn't up to the standard of the way I've been playing football the past 3 years since the new contract. So just got to play better football. That's what that really means. There's no other way to sugarcoat that or go around that.
Sugarcoat is the heavy-fingered typer. I don't know what that is. Somebody transcribing or I don't know. I mean, can we type lighter?
Getting that down. You're one of those like
that's weird. I mean, those really heavy fingers. Yeah. And the other thing is, Tua's not wrong. Not wrong. I mean, listen, it can't feel good that he and the Dolphins broke up. And it'll be a chip. The question is how much of a large chip on his shoulder, and can he bring a chip to Atlanta? This is what he had to say about the concept of a quarterback competition, which is what the GM Ian Cunningham said it was going to be, which at the time, when I heard that, I took that as more of a slight to Penix than it was to Tua. And I took that to mean that Tua's going to get the leg up because, I mean, in the same way I'm thinking Kyler Murray can't be beaten out by J.J. McCarthy in Minnesota because of the amount of experience that he's had. Tua's pretty much almost neck and neck with Kyler in terms of experience and also, to be honest, disappointments. Being drafted as high and also making the playoffs, having one playoff appearance and being one and done in it. This is what he had to say about the competition concept.
You don't choose a team based off of whether I'm going to be starting or not. I think you look at the entirety of the group, right? As I was looking at the other teams, I knew I had to compete regardless of what that was going to look like. Coming here, I kind of know Mike a little bit based off of his relationship with my little brother as they were coming out for the draft. So in that sense, I kind of got in contact with Mike and whatnot, talked with him. And moving forward from there, competition is just a thing. I am no stranger to competition. Had it in college. And I would say competition is just going to be there, and competition enhances the play of everyone that you're surrounded with. And so, last year wasn't the best year for me. And, I'm looking for a fresh start, but fresh start in the sense of being able to compete, being able to go back out there and playing football, good football. And I think the best football is still ahead of me.
I'm loving his honesty here.
He's always kind of been a pretty straight shooter, and
Yeah, no, that there were times though Dolphins fans would say like
weirdly
he also didn't know what time it was sometimes.
But
right,
he generally tells you what he's feeling.
Well, I mean, there's just no doubt that he wound up being a free agent, an opportunity to look for a spot, and I don't know what other teams he was talking about or were interested in him in terms of the, names or anything like that. You have to assume it's the same ones as anywhere else.
Yeah,
and he got on his spot before anyone else did. In the new league year process, and interestingly enough, the transaction held. And
the only team without a quarterback right now is Pittsburgh, yeah.
Right. And I don't know if Tua was even an option for them there. It wouldn't have been for me. I mean, you would talk about cold weather. I wouldn't want to be in a cold weather spot and hire him, to be straight up, based on what we just saw in Miami. With all due respect, I'm not denigrating. I'm just taking a look at the results. And I know it's unfair to say that one of the playoff games, it was so cold people got frostbite. But when you look at the scenario that Michael Penix, I imagine you're finding out, I'm coming. Clearly, Cousins isn't going to be there. So I'm going to compete against a kid that is really talented and has the opportunity there and potentially a leg up on me because of where he was drafted. But the people who drafted him are gone. So there's going to be an even beginning here between the two of us. And I am, I know the kid through my brother, as you mentioned, his brother. And it'll be a healthy room to join. But you also know that you've got more experience than him. So if it is truly a straight-up apples-to-apples conversation, you should be able to beat him out. And then on top of it, the offense is kind of sick there. This is what he had to say that.
I think the biggest thing you see with the group of guys that we have, you got Yak and Kyle Pitts. You can throw it in the vicinity of Drake. Drake's going to catch it. You got a back like Bijan. I mean, we had Achane last year, and you can see the similarities in the style of run. I think Bijan might be a bit more physical, but in terms of speed, elusiveness, then you got the play action game to work off of that to get these guys the ball. All in all, I think it can be really dangerous.
Almost as dangerous as balanced the phone to talk. I mean, I was a little concerned.
And they just added Brian Robinson to that backfield.
Dude.
Make sure you draft the right one in fantasy.
Let me just say this, because I see they play each other on the schedule. There is no Miami Dolphins, right? But there are the Vikings. Falcons at Vikings. Tua and Kyler. And I bet to make sure that those two are going to be the guys that face one another. I wouldn't be surprised to see that on national television in the first month of the season.
Oh.
If you're the schedule makers and you see it's Atlanta at Minnesota, wouldn't you put that on a Thursday night? Doesn't that reek of Prime Video week 2, week 3? Early on, so you know that this is going to be in the period where Penix is either hurt or it's the 6-week period where you've got both of these guys still getting a tire kick with their league minimum salaries, right? And if it's not, let's just say it does turn out to be Penix versus McCarthy. That's another national championship game rematch. Wasn't that on the schedule last year as well? I would make book on a season nationally televised game where we're like, okay, which one of these guys who got cut and is on a massive dead cap number on their previous team, trying to make it again with their new teams and league minimums and playing with house money, and have them face off against each other. Justin Jefferson and Drake, Bijan Robinson.
Oh, star power. I mean, big
that's what I'm
fantasy.
saying. Like that. I wouldn't be surprised to see that when the schedule comes out in May as a first month of the season nationally televised game. Sunday night, I don't know, Monday night, Thursday night, choose it. I'd watch it.
Thursday or
I'm
Monday.
going to watch any of it.
That's not really a Sunday night.
Why not?
Matchup.
Why not? What, I got to be New England against somebody to rate for that? So it is.
Yeah, the New England does rate better than either Atlanta or Minnesota.
Just trying to figure that out.
But
all right.
I don't know. One team went to the Super Bowl.